Okay, time for our least favorite thing on this show. I know it's hard. I know it's heavy, but you know it's something that matters to us. I know it matters to you. Honoring the fallen who die in training, who die in service to this country, not charging a machine gun nest in time of war, but serving this country and giving their lives for it. It is a dangerous thing to serve in the United States military, and it has to be. And the USS George Washington was off the coast of Australia, and Airman Jose Antonio Rivera Lynch IV went over the side, and we lost him to the deep. So say a prayer for him, say a prayer for his family. You can't imagine the agony they're going through right now. But that young man served his country honorably and gave his life for his country the same way anybody did in a war anywhere, and we honor his sacrifice. Now, we are going to get to this redistricting talk because that can be really politically wonky and it can really go over a lot of people's heads, myself included. So we're going to dig into that. We will. We'll talk a bit more about the Russia hoax stuff. Keeps getting worse for the communists. But I wanted to walk down memory lane really quickly. And this may be a little painful. Maybe it'll make you sad. Maybe it'll make you angry. But none of that's why I'm doing this. We're going to walk down how insane our culture got, because we went through a period of time when communists achieved ultimate cultural power in this country in every way, from the presidency to corporations to everything. They achieved ultimate political power. And then they proceeded to make everybody miserable, to make everybody hate each other, to destroy as much as they could destroy. And so when we were under assault like that, when the communists were battering down the gates like that of our culture, that was a time of revelation for many people. Hopefully it was a time of revelation for you, even revelation about yourself. What I mean by that is when the evil forces have controlled everything and they're attacking everything, you will find out who's a coward and who's courageous. You will find out who will stand and who will falter. You really find out who the evil people, the evil entities are. And look, I'm not going to talk about the freaking Sydney Sweeney stuff, which is so overblown and done by now. It's brutal. It's been going on for a week. But we'll play this very briefly here. Why did this make the left so angry that there's video out today of them screaming at her?
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbro jeans.
You see what I did there, right?
Okay. The jeans, and this is the thing. This is going to be generational, what I'm about to say. I am not ancient. I'm certainly getting older. Couldn't sleep last night. I hurt my neck. Anyway, sleeping, I hurt my neck. But I'm 44. That ad you just saw, if you're young enough, you don't realize that was every fashion ad ever for my entire life. And it didn't, you know what? I take that back. It wasn't every fashion ad. It was every ad. That's just kind of how they did it, because people, all human beings, men, women, everybody, we like to look at beauty, beautiful nature, beautiful mountains, beautiful rivers, beautiful people. Human beings like to take in beauty. So it doesn't matter whether you're selling jeans or Gatorade or you're down at the local Mazda dealership, you find a handsome man, a pretty woman, and you dress them up and you say, hey, look at this pretty girl. She wants you to come buy a Mazda. Don't you want to buy a Mazda? And that was just advertising. And it has always been this way. All of human history, that's what you do. You find somebody who looks good and you use their appearance to make your product or service, whatever that is, more appealing. And that's just human nature. Honestly, the ad we just played is just the most benign thing in the world. What is it? So why would they react like this?
Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
I really wasn't going to weigh in on this, but here we go. It is so difficult to grow up as a person of color, specifically a woman, and view yourself as beautiful in any sense of the word growing up in this country. I remember growing up in a predominantly white community, wishing myself out of this body, out of this culture, take my name, if it meant that I could wake up blonde-haired and blue-eyed, never having to explain who I am or worry about being accepted. That is why this American Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney is especially off-putting.
What? And we had articles from MSNBC. Good Morning America was talking about it. ESPN, one writer said he was mortified by the ad. Okay, but what happened? Well, this is where we're going to rewind. See, what happened was ugly people took over our culture. Ugly on the inside. Now, most of them were ugly on the outside too, but ugly on the inside. Communists. Communists, they hate beauty. Of any kind. It doesn't have to be physical beauty on a man or a woman, of any kind. If something is wonderful, beautiful, if something is good, the communist views that as a threat because the communist is demonic. So anything that is good, it could be a mountain. If it's a beautiful mountain, tear it down. If it's a beautiful woman, run her out of television. No, grab some fat heifer and stuff her in some jeans and then tell everybody it's beautiful. It could be a beautiful institution, the Boy Scouts. Hey, can we make this gayer? It could be whatever, a wonderful company, a good company, whatever it is. If the communist sees beauty, success, greatness, the communist endeavors to tear it down. Now, normally, those deranged, ugly freaks are held on the street corner and made fun of the way they should be. But for a period of time in this country, they took over everything. Our buddy Bonchi at Red State pointed something out. A tweet from the NHL, the National Hockey League. A tweet from the NHL which says, by the way, they've not deleted it, trans women are women, trans men are men, non-binary identity is real. This is why we're going to take this little walk, or we're taking this little walk down memory lane. How insane would that be if any human being, anyone, of any age, any race, whatever, any human being uttered those words, a man can turn into a woman or a woman can turn into a man. That's an insane, it's not just inaccurate, it's insanity. If one person said that, you would say, wow, you're crazy. We had major sports leagues, multi-billion-dollar corporations publicly declaring something that's completely insane. The evil people, the communists, tore apart this country as fast as they possibly could. Remember George Floyd? I'm never going to stop bringing this up. George Floyd died of an overdose. Derek Chauvin got lynched by the United States of America. He did. We had sports teams like the New York Mets celebrating his conviction. He's still wrongfully convicted and still sitting in prison, I might point out, celebrating the whole thing. That is the kind of country we had. And I want to reinforce a point I made in the opening. We had that not just because the communists are evil demons, but because so many people and entities in this country are gutless cowards. When faced with communist insanity, hey, just cut your penis off, you'll be a woman. They said, oh, okay, just don't hurt me anymore. Insanity. And we need to remember this. You really, really need to remember this. Democrats, communists, they have not come out and changed their ways. They have not apologized for what they've done. They've not backtracked one iota. And the reason they haven't backtracked one iota is they don't regret a single thing. What you need to remember from that is if they ever get power again, God forbid, they will do the same or worse. Do I need to remind you this human being was made an admiral?
Hello, I'm Admiral Rachel Levine. Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on the physical and mental health of Black communities. Black Americans are more likely than white Americans to live in areas and housing that increase their susceptibility to climate-related health issues. And 65% of Black Americans report feeling anxious about climate change's impact. Through our Office of Climate Change and Health Equity and the Office of Environmental Justice, we're working with providers and community leaders to identify innovative approaches that empower communities to address the health consequences linked to climate change.
And Admiral, on top of all that, it's not just that the communists took over every institution, pushed insanity everywhere they could. Anytime they thought they might meet resistance, they met it with threats and with force, including something I have never seen before. I have never seen this before. The President of the United States of America routinely threatening the American people.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us. And by the way, if they want to think to take on government if we get out of line, which they're talking again about, well, guess what? They need F-15s. They don't need...
What a statement. Don't make me send my fighter jets after you. This is a reminder, not just that these people were evil and destructive, you know that our institutions failed us, bent the knee as fast as they could bend the knee, and failed us like gutless cowards when these communists were tearing apart this country. There weren't many people, there weren't hardly any institutions that stood strong and tall during that time. And they're going to come back to power. You know that. They're going to come back and they're going to do it again. Let's hope we're made of stronger stuff the next time. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right.
You know what I want to do? I want to go to sleep. You know, it's not like I want to go to sleep right now. I'm fine. I want to keep doing the show, but when I get home tonight, hang with the fam a little bit, I'm going to want to go to sleep. And I know that no matter what, I'm going to sleep like a little baby. Are you 100% going to sleep like a baby tonight? I use Dream Powder from Beam. Whenever I feel like I'm not going to sleep, I simply have a cup of hot chocolate before bed. That's what you pour Dream Powder. I pour it in a little milk. You can do water. And I just warm up a little glass of milk, mix it in there, and it's just a wonderful little cup of cinnamon hot cocoa. And you drift off to sleep because it's all natural. You wake up the next day, you feel great. You want to try some Dream Powder? 40% off. Shopbeam.com/Jesse Kelly. Try a bag, you'll never be without it. We'll be back. Let's talk about gratitude, shall we? This is going to be an immigration talk because we have a bunch of disloyal foreigners in this country, millions and millions of them, many of them in elected office. But before we get to that, because this is going to be a central theme, gratitude. What creates gratitude? You know, my first car, actually my second car, my first one I had to sell to pay for a scratch on my dad's truck. It's a long story. But my first real car that I had for a long time was a 1983 Honda Accord. It was the biggest piece of crap in the world. You could actually see the road through the floorboard. If you were driving, you could look down, you could just see the road, just parts of it falling off. I paid $600 for that car, and I loved it. I treasured it. The day I went off to the Marine Corps and had to sell that car, I was legit heartbroken, like I was saying goodbye to an old friend. Why? It's a $600 piece of crap car. Because I earned it. I had to work summer after summer, crappy job after crappy job. I built up enough and I earned it. And that was my $600 and that was my car and I took pride in it. Have you ever known or heard about a kid, maybe a little spoiled, As soon as he gets his driver's license, parents go out and buy him a brand new Ford Mustang, something like that, something brand new. How's he treat that car? He treat it well? Or does he wreck it, trash it, scratch it up? 99% of the time, they wreck it, they trash it, they scratch it up. Why? Because something wonderful was given to him, not earned, and therefore there's no gratitude, there's no appreciation for it, and in a way, this is how human beings, this is how our minds work. In a way, he kind of resents it. That's what's happened with immigration in this country for a very, very, very long time. Citizenship in the United States of America is precious. This is the greatest country in the history of the world with a standard of living other countries, even modern countries, can only dream of. Citizenship in this country should be hard to obtain. We should not, I hear this all the time about, and we need to make it easier for legal immigrants. No, we don't. Citizenship is precious. It should be hard, long. It should be stressful to try to earn citizenship in the greatest country in the world because that produces better citizens. Now, if you just hand out citizenship willy-nilly, no, you can come and I guess we'll call you a refugee and I'll bring 50,000 of your friends and no, we'll bring you here and you can come here. When you just hand it out for years and years and years and years and years, then what happens is the people you hand it out to don't appreciate it at all. If anything, they resent it. And we're not talking about one or two people, this guy in LA, this girl in New York City. We have millions of disloyal foreigners, guests who have arrived in this country by various means, sometimes legal, sometimes otherwise, and they don't appreciate it. They don't wake up in the morning and think, oh, I love America. They resent everything about this wonderful place because we gave it away to them. This lady, Delia Ramirez, she's getting a lot of publicity over the last 24, 48 hours because of something she said. She went down to Mexico City, stood up at the podium, on camera, behind the microphone, and she said this.
Quiero terminar diciendo unas palabras en español porque yo soy guatemalteca con mucho orgullo, primero que soy americana.
Now, I don't expect you to habla, but here's the translation of what she said. Keep in mind, that is an elected member of the United States House of Representatives. Matters of national security, national sovereignty, national economic matters, you name it. That woman, she casts critical votes on your behalf. Her votes affect your life, the life of your children, the United States of America itself. What did her words there translate to? Quote, I am a proud Guatemalan before I'm an American. I am a proud Guatemalan before I'm an American. Why does she think that way? Because she didn't have to earn anything. She's an ungrateful, useless anchor baby whose parents crossed this border illegally, crapped her out in the city of Chicago, and she has luxuriated her entire life here. Instead of freaking Guatemala, she's luxuriated her entire life in the United States of America, has risen to the position of United States Congressman. She votes on behalf of this country in the most prestigious legislative body in the world, and she still doesn't consider herself an American. She's a Guatemalan. So, if she's not really an American, then what exactly is she doing here? Well, it's actually her response to the controversy that's the most revealing part about this. If you're not an American, if you're a Guatemalan first, if you're not an American, then what, pray tell, are you and yours doing here? Here was her response to all the outrage about what she said. I'm going to shorten it up quite a bit, but let's get right to the important parts. Honoring my Guatemalan ancestry only strengthens my commitment to America. Of course, that's ridiculous. But let's get to this part. This is the big part everyone's missing. Quote, anyone who denies our claim on this country, I don't even have to finish the sentence. Let's just repeat that again. This is her words.
This is her public response to the outrage. Anyone who denies our claim on this country. Your claim? Your claim on this country. If you went and found a poor person, maybe a homeless person, and you brought that person out of their bad circumstances and you brought them into your home, would you ever expect them to say the words of, I've laid claim to the couch in the living room. I claim it as mine? Or would you expect a certain amount of gratitude for someone who left a bad situation and you took them in and now they're in a good situation? You would expect gratitude, but we don't get that gratitude from these disloyal foreigners because we allow all of them to flood in here and now they hate us. Now they view themselves not as immigrants, certainly not as guests. They view themselves as conquerors. That woman and the people who elect her, her entire demonic constituency, they're not here to be guests. They're certainly not here to be citizens. They are here to claim this land for themselves. An invading army, an invasion force. And by the way, this same woman, miracle after miracle, this same woman wants the power to defund ICE.
It's time to escalate or fight back or push back against this fascist government. That's right. It's time for us to reconsider what ICE is all about. We have to defund them. It's time to defund.
A conqueror. And before we move on, because she's certainly not alone here, I just want to pause real quick and remind you that it's not Democrats alone who have pushed this concept out to the world. Come here, everyone can come here, everyone's welcome here. We don't want to be mean, we don't want to be racist. The useless, naked Ken doll Ginger, who's a United States Senator from the red state of Oklahoma, did the best he could to amnesty millions of them.
Do you think that whatever you're working on will have to include a path to citizenship for Dreamers?
I do. I've been pretty outspoken on that. Even last September, Senator Tillis and I both put out a proposal to get citizenship for those individuals that are in the DACA program or were eligible for the DACA program, because we've got a group that was in the DACA program, but we've got a group that never signed up, never went through the paperwork for whatever reason they were eligible for it. We'd like those individuals to be able to have access to citizenship as well.
Disloyal foreigners, aided by a tiny cabal of eunuch GOP senators. Oh, don't think Delia Ramirez is the only one. Elected Democrat after elected Democrat from every single layer of power in this country have uttered words similar to this. Ilhan Omar says this stuff every day.
jawaabteedu waxay ahayd dawladda Mareykanka waxay ka qabanaysaa wixii annaga aan dhahno dawladda Mareykanka qabo. Waa kalsoonidaas inaan isku qabno annaga Soomaali haddii aan nahay. Waddankan annaga ku nool.
Does that sound like a guest? A grateful guest? Keep in mind, Ilhan Omar wasn't born here. She was brought to this country as a refugee. She was brought to this country from maybe the worst place on planet Earth. That place is known as Somalia, a place full of famine, death, female genital mutilation, run by warlords, and a despicable country in every possible way. And that vile little Marxist was plucked out of that hellhole and brought to the greatest country on the planet. And she doesn't wake up and she doesn't go to sleep full of gratitude for the country where she now resides. She views herself as a representative of the conquerors of this land. She is here to conquer and pillage the United States of America. Not a guest, no gratitude. And this has been going on for decades. Democrats have driven it, Republicans have protected it at every single possible turn. And while they're here, they'll get on camera and say stuff like this.
Here in Congress, we are fighting back every single day. We are fighting to protect immigrant families from mass detention and deportation. I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
Yeah, I know everyone's happy about the secure border right now. I know I certainly am as well, and credit to the Trump administration for securing the border. It looks like we're going to have a negative net migration for the first time in 50 years. All these things are very good things. It's not near enough. It's time to start denaturalizing and deporting these people. That's not an extreme step. That's the moderate solution. The second you get up on camera, especially as a member of the House of Representatives, and announce that you're there in service to a separate foreign country, announce that your loyalty lies with a foreign country, you shouldn't just be stripped of your committee assignments and kicked out of the House of Representatives. You should be removed, your citizenship should be removed, and you should be on the next deportation flight with all the other scumbags who came here illegally. It's time to start denaturalizing and deporting people. We have to get rid of these vile little conquerors in our midst who walked into our living room with our grace, with our kindness, and they've now, what word did she use? Claimed the place. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I love to eat. Everybody knows I love to eat. And you learn things about your food as you get older. You learn what's in it, what you've been eating. Maybe you've been shorting yourself on something. How often do you have olive oil as part of your cooking? It's most people. Most people do it most of the time. Well, our olive oil sucks. It's not because you don't have any taste or I don't have any taste. We don't know. We don't know that it's old. The olive oil on the shelf in your grocery store is freaking old. Months, sometimes years old. We just don't think about it. We go, we grab a bottle. This looks like it's from Italy, and we take it home. Try farmfresh246.com. One time. They will send you a free bottle. It's a $39 bottle of olive oil. You'll never look back. You pay a little for the shipping. Farmfresh246.com. Your meals are about to get better. In any walk of life, certainly in politics, but in any walk of life, any business, any political party, sports team, you will find that it's important to find your most loyal followers, to feed them, listen to them, guide them, find the people who will lay down in traffic for you and use their loyalty to further whatever you're trying to further. If it's your business, find the guy who's so happy to be there, grateful for his job, loves working there, and that's the guy. That's going to be your guy. In politics, works the exact same way. Maybe you're confused about a few things you see from the Democrat Party today. When they get up and they say the crazy things they say, it's almost as if they don't care about you. The normal person, they're not even trying to talk to you. It's as if they're talking to a totally different species than you. And that is because they are. Because the Democrat Party's base, it used to be working people, poor people. That used to be kind of the base of the Democrat Party. And when they would give speeches, when they would run campaigns, they would campaign towards that. They would campaign for that. Those were their loyal followers. Hey, the poor people are going to turn out and vote for us. Blue collar will turn out and vote for us. And so they spoke to those people. But that day is past. Now they are speaking to mentally ill women. And historically, mentally ill women have been the most loyal, most vicious, most violent followers of communism in every single country communism has been implemented. You know who was probably more evil than Mao Zedong? His wife. Just unbelievably evil. Story after story after story of communist countries where the women oversaw the torture programs. The women were the first ones to report people. But why? It's not because women are stupid or bad or evil. It's none of those things. Why and how? And because that's what's happened today with the Democrat Party. They only speak to those mentally ill women. I'm going to show you a few different videos. I'm going to go pretty fast. And then we're going to discuss the why and how, because this is actually going to matter to you and your life, no matter who you are. First, let me introduce you to a history teacher who has no problem with child sacrifice.
sacrifices were volunteers from the elite class because they believed that the elites were closer to the gods and could therefore appease them better. Also, in terms of sacrifice, they were kind about it. Hear me out. Because unlike the Mexica, when you're like ripping out a still beating heart out of someone's chest, the Inca would intentionally use coca leaves and would use chicha and would drug up the sacrifice and then leave them on a mountain, a cold, chilly mountain, to be exposed to the elements. Which, if you're good, a volunteer sacrifice where you're heavily drugged before you die. Also, I mean, I can equate human sacrifice throughout history to so many things. And I think the fact that a lot of people are commenting, oh, but the sacrifice, is again indicative of the fact that you have received a quite white education because you are knowing them for the bad things that they have done and not all of the wonders that they accomplished.
So they killed a few kids. They left them on a mountaintop to freeze to death. They were voluntary. Stop being so white. Okay. Look at these women.
And on that revolutionary horizon, want to perform abortions in a church, but before it's all said and done.
The only real difference between marriage and prostitution is the price and the duration of the contract.
In addition to abolition of family policing, you argue for abolition of the family in general, and say that the institution of the family acts as part of the carceral system in the way that it reinforces children as property.
I think the left is constantly surprised at how few people are, ready for revolt, despite, the extremely dire conditions that we are in that keep becoming more and more dire every day.
Women and children are the most harmed by capitalism, but also women and children are the architects of their fate.
Okay. Tell you what, one more, then we're going to have a long talk. Cynthia Nixon, actress, not ashamed of her insane family, brags about all those tranny kids.
I am here today as the mother of a proud trans man. I am here today as the aunt of a proud trans man. My best friend's kid is trans, and my kid's best friend is trans. My wife and I, our lives are filled with the most amazing, beautiful, brave trans people, young and old, but especially young. And the idea that this city is filled with young people who thought they had a place to go where they could receive the highest care, and that place has now been shut to them, sickens me to my core.
I know, it's sick, it's evil, it's demonic, it is. So let's talk. Tell you what, pause on that for a second. Why do militaries fill up with young men? All around the world throughout history, and I know women have to be included in everything today, but historically, why are young men so great in the military? It's not purely physical, of course. That's a big part of it. They're young, they're strong, I get that, but why? Well, the truth is, young men, before your brain fully develops, when your body is basically pure testosterone, young men are more willing to take risks, more willing to do dangerous things. I'm 44 now. When I look back at the things I've done in my life, I mean, you name it, the craziest thing. I could have died so many times. That never crossed my mind. Why? I was young. So militaries, historically, they take the natural inclination of a young man, and I don't want to say twist it, but they use it for their purposes. Hey, you want to do some fun, dangerous stuff? Put on a uniform. We'll give you a gun. That's the exact same way, the exact same reason communists use women. You see, women have a wonderful, wonderful motherly nature. They're born with it. It's how God made them. A motherly nature about them. Whether or not they have children, that doesn't matter. They have a wonderful, caring, motherly nature. That's why they're better nurses. That's why, honestly, they're better at the home. I won't say better parents. Men have just as important a role, but my kids need breakfast. My wife's going to think about that. I won't. Get yourself something. They just have a wonderful motherly nature. Well, just like those young men with militaries, communists take that wonderful motherly nature and they twist it. They use it for their purposes, and this is how they do it. It happens to young women. Young women will get twisted like this. Your daughter will get twisted like this at college if you're not very careful. They will go off and they will take the motherly nature, and instead of aiming that motherly nature where it's supposed to be aimed towards children, caring for a home, caring for children, they will instead take their enemies. They will take their enemies, the communists will, and they will tell that woman that those are the enemies of your children, and your children are whoever their allies happen to be. You see, in the United States of America, here's how this works. You remember that first woman, the history teacher, who told you that you're learning white history? American communists, American women, have been taught, their motherly nature has been taught that they are to protect at any cost immigrants of any kind of minority, anybody who's a non-Christian, and all these people, criminals, flat out violent criminals, rapists, murderers. Their wonderful motherly nature has been manipulated and twisted to essentially be the mother of those groups. And therefore, anybody who's the enemy, a perceived enemy of those groups. Do you want border security? Do you want criminals locked up? Do you want children taught about the greatness of America? Well, she will fight you tooth and nail because she is protecting her children. What do mothers do with their children? They fight, they will lay down their lives. They'll kill for their children because they have a wonderful motherly nature. That is why they are the most committed communists in the history of the world. Their motherly nature is manipulated to mother the communist allies and oppose the communist enemies. And if you spend enough time in that demonic world of make-believe, you will end up 74 years old and completely insane.
I'm just so scared. I'm 74 years old. I worry about everything, and I just am so scared and upset, and I don't understand why people voted for this person.
74 years old. I think about my grandma, God rest her soul, Grandma Helen. When I showed up at her house, she was usually in her garden. She knew we were coming. She was a terrible cook, by the way, but she made the best applesauce and bread in the world. She'd have some homemade applesauce, bread for us. She quilted. That 74-year-old woman has had her mind and her soul broken and poisoned for 74 years old. Now what is she? And that's why, by the way, I pointed out that they were some of the worst torturers and executioners. That's why you routinely see America's women communists, female communists, acting like this.
Hi. I want to know how you can vote.
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
Shameful.
Are you the one that walks by here and always screaming at people?
No, I haven't walked by recently.
Okay, because a lot of people walk by and scream.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You are voting for the devil. Don't you know that?
No.
Why are you voting for him?
Because I believe he is the moral candidate.
Oh, my God. F*** you for that one.
That's
moral?
Exactly right. That's how your side acts.
Oh, my God.
That's
He's
how
the
you
most
guys...
immoral person around.
In your opinion, that's
Oh,
okay.
f*** you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. God bless you.
How could a woman act like that? She's protecting her babies. That's what they do. Be very, very careful. Gentlemen, be very careful who you marry. Parents, be very, very careful with that girl you've raised for 18 years, because you send her off to a communist training camp. They might just take that wonderful nature you've put in her and turn her into a demon. She'll chop all her hair off, drive home a Subaru, and tell you how evil you are for your white privilege. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I'm getting old. And as I get older, I get angrier and angrier that I can't understand any customer service people on the phone because they're all foreigners. They don't speak English that well. They don't understand English that well. And I know it's bad, but I'm so tired of having to repeat myself 10 times into the phone. No, that's not what I said. Hire Americans. I love that Pure Talk hires Americans. It's not just that they provide the same great sales service as all the big guys because they're on the same network. It's not just that you pay less. When you have to get a hold of somebody at Pure Talk, and you will at some point in time, it's a pleasant American who speaks English, because they hire Americans right here at home. That means something to me. Go to puretalk.com/JesseTV and switch to the company that hires Americans. It is time to lighten the mood. And Elizabeth Warren, I'll play you the video in a moment. She fell on the Senate floor. And believe it or not, I'm not playing this to make fun of her, because I actually don't think it's funny when old people fall. It's always bothered me. I'm playing this because I feel like this is happening to me more and more, and I don't know why. I'll lean on something that's not very solid, and I'll just fall. I'll try to sit down. I did this last night in my chair. I tried to sit down, and I kind of missed the chair, so I sat on the arm of it and almost fell off it. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's just getting older, but I feel you, Liz.
Senators voting in the affirmative: Baldwin, Blunt Rochester, Durbin, Heinrich, Hirono, Kane.
I'll see you tomorrow. All right, it is time to lighten the mood. And Elizabeth Warren, I'll play you the video in a moment. She fell on the Senate floor. And believe it or not, I'm not playing this to make fun of her, because I actually don't think it's funny when old people fall. It's always bothered me. I'm playing this because I feel like this is happening to me more and more, and I don't know why. I'll lean on something that's not very solid, and I'll just fall. I'll try to sit down. I did this last night in my chair. I tried to sit down, and I kind of missed the chair, so I sat on the arm of it and almost fell off it. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's just getting older, but I feel you, Liz.
Senators voting in the affirmative: Baldwin, Blunt Rochester, Durbin, Heinrich, Hirono, Kane.
I'll see you tomorrow.